Alright, back top of the AM, day 2. Fear no evil. Headlight build. Um, so got it, let it dry overnight for that first coat of black. Still a few imperfections, but had to drill the holes. Now that's what I'm doing, lining up the holes so we can put the LED tube. So, definitely a little bit of work, a little bit of craftsmanship involved to get these exactly where you want them. But they are definitely gonna be it. Definitely got my drill on deck, and we are going to work, baby. So I'm just lining up the holes where I want to put the little connectors, because these are gonna go right in here like so to hold the LED tube. Slides right in there, kind of like so. See, it has a little grooves right here to slide right in. So just like so, and it'll slide right in. There we go. Like that. So it helps the LED tube stay seated and it's not like wiggling around in the housing. So let me finish getting the holes lined up and finish drilling those, and definitely show you guys the end product. I already got a couple holes drilled on both sides, just trying to make sure they're even and aligned, and we'll keep going with a few holes. I got one set right here. I just got to line a few more up the way up and we'll be good to go. Alright, so got the holes drilled, lined up pretty much to perfection as best as I possibly could with test uh, fitting or test lining up the LED strips. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually installing the little brackets that's going to hold the LED strip. As you see, I already got one installed, and I'm going to install the other 5 going up. I purposely selected these spots just so when you have the Audi style switchback tube installed, this is definitely the perfect spacing to keep everything lined up. So let me finish installing the little brackets. I like to drill the holes, and then after that, pretty much now I'm ready to screw them in, what makes it much easier. And now once I screw these in and I'm gonna get done, and when I get done, I am going to hit it with the last coat, let it dry, and we are pretty much done with the painting factor of it. So let's get it done, baby. Show y'all that last look before we get that last coat ready to go on there of that uh, black paint. Let's do it. Alright, so what I like to do is try and get the screw seated in the bracket before you really try to sit it down and install it, so it makes installation a little easier. And now that you already have the holes pre-drilled, it's just about lining it up and screwing it in, which is the easy part. And again, before you tighten the bracket, you always want to make sure it's seated how you want. You want to test fit the whole LED tube running up where you want it to make sure that the brackets have it lined up so it's not crooked, and everything should be good after that. Okay, so what I wanted to go over with you guys too is the drill bit that I used, right? So let me make this clear too. This is a 1/16 drill bit. Very small, very tiny, but the holes that it makes is the absolute perfect size to fit these little screws. So you have to be mindful of that. So just wanted to throw that in the air, a little bit more detail just to help you guys out if you were really serious about this custom headlight build. Again, it does take time, a little bit of craftsmanship. Again, this is like my second, third time doing it, so I kind of know exactly where I'm going to line it up to make it look right, make it look nice and neat. Again, before you put that last coat, I would always suggest drilling your holes, as I did, and I'm gonna screw in the brackets now. And once I'm done screwing in the brackets and then test fitting the LED tube to see and make sure it lines up right before I tighten the screws down and tighten the brackets into place, I am definitely going to just test fit the LED tube, make sure everything lines up, tighten it down, and then we're gonna paint it. Let's do it. Alright, so we back on it, man. Shaking up black caliper paint. I love it because of the high heat resistance it has, 900 degrees. If you can't see it, sorry about that, a little blurry. But yeah, we back up on it. We gonna hit it with this last coat. Pretty much this last coat, we gonna let it sit for about an hour, and then we gonna look into installing the LED strip. We're going to, I'm sorry, the LED tube that we have the brackets lined up for. We're gonna put the fog light lens and the side marker reflector back on, which we have right over here, which actually came out perfectly. Tinted real right, not too dark, not too light, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Alright, so what I want to show you guys as well is you have to make holes on the actual headlight housing so the wires for the LED tubes can fit through. Again, it doesn't have to be too big, doesn't have to be anything too crazy, just something so it can fit through. And then what I like to do just to cover that up, I actually have some Teflon tape and Permatex sealant, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap the wires that go through with the Teflon tape and then put the RTV clear silicone around it and see if I can like jam it in, and it kind of makes a wedge so it'll be airtight. Silicone will make that airtight seal, and that is how we're gonna plug that up and make that good to go. I mean, I'll show y'all the end result of how that looks. Just waiting for everything else to dry, and we're gonna put it back together. Then comes the fun part, wiring. Alright, so we reinstalled the fog light paneling that we took off. There's 3 screws. Seems for these headlights they might have been worked on, or it's just a factory defect. But this screw right here is missing. See if I can show y'all. It's a screw that goes right here, and a screw that goes right here on the opposite one, but no biggie. 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's gonna get it back on there. Always check your screws. Best thing you could possibly do is try and make sure exactly where you took the screws out of is the exact same screws you're putting them back into. That'll definitely help alleviate the problem with over screwing or messing up the threading. That should definitely help. So just wanted to give you guys that little bit of input. Alright, so we have the LED and the Audi LED tube installed. That is on both of them, installed just the way I would like it. Now it is time to set it up and see how we are going to do this next little setup, and I'll give y'all that in a few. Alright, so got it in production. Got the second part to the Fear No Evil headlights. Looking good. Little man, light me up. So, demon eye, right? Cool. Alright, so, I mean, I got them back together, but now it's time for the fun part, and that is to do the wiring. So, here's where my resistors, got my remote, well, my control. I'm trying to find my remote. It's on the table here somewhere. But yeah, so hopefully we can get it. Oh, here we go. Remote. Cooling. Love it. Alright. Alright, so I got the headlight out. I put it back in the oven for 3 minutes on 300 degrees. That made it viscous enough just to warm up the glue so I could pretty much take it out. And what I did was I flipped it over and I pressed down on it using my weight on this edge and on this edge down here on the back side, with this laid down on the towel. I use a towel because I don't want to crack the lens. I want something soft to lay it down on. So yeah, I got these little clamps. I actually ended up using a vice grip for the end over here. And now, I mean, I'm gonna let this dry overnight. Yeah, give it about, you know, a solid day to just be clamped. Let it sit, make sure everything sits in. And again, this is where the RTV silicone comes into play, because I like to cut the tip of the nozzle and I'll put it on that. Then I'll actually run it, as you can see, the little clear on the edges, and I run it all the way around. I'll take the clamp off, put some RTV, make sure it's not messy or anything, make sure it's in the crevice where I need it, or other than that it's pointless. And yeah, just run it all the way around, fill in any cracks, any holes, because you're not gonna get a perfect reseal with the factory glue by itself, just trying to reseal it that way. So this is my little extra added insurance to make sure that it is 100% sealed. So stay tuned. I'll get back with you after we've finished the resale process, so I can show you guys how we're going to be doing the wiring. So this is what you want to do when you have your light fresh out of the oven. As you see, have my glove on. Just took the other one off so I could film this for you guys. What you want to do is you want to press down. You want to take one hand and put it on the side here, and you want to take your other hand and put it here, and you want to press straight down. Don't try to press on one end and rock it back and forth. You want to press straight down on it. You want to flip it, grab it here, with your other hand grab here, and then we're going to press down here. And then once you're done, you're going to flip it around here and press down in that fashion as well. And that should help press the lens back in to the housing. Make sure you do it quick. As soon as it gets out, it is going to be hot. Alright, what's going on, people? So headlights are clamped, have been clamped, they're sealed, we're good, everything is looking proper. So now comes the wiring aspect of everything. First and foremost, if you're gonna have a LED bulb for your turn signal, the first thing you probably would have to worry about is that hyper flash. So to help the hyper flash, I have a 6 ohm load resistor. You're gonna need one per headlight, as I have one for this one and I have another one for that headlight. And again, what you want to do when you're installing your load resistor is you want to keep it away from the wiring, but yet put it somewhere on the housing that it's going to be able to reach both ends to your positive and negative on your turn signal. And again, what this is going to do is it's going to stop the hyper flash, again, which is the main cause of LED bulbs blowing out quicker than they should. So if you do have a set of LED bulbs for a turn signal and you're getting that hyper flash, a 6 ohm load resistor will definitely help eliminate that. So I'm gonna get ready to install it. I'm gonna get ready to do the wiring. I'm about to cut some more of the jacket off for these wires. I actually like to install my load resistor right here because that keeps it away from the wires, and on top of that, that makes it close enough for me to wire it into the turn signal wiring harness. But again, it does get hot, so you don't want it anywhere where it's going to be resting on a wire or anything like that. That's why I say for me, this is the best spot. So let me get it started and I'll keep y'all in the loop. Alright, so with the headlights, right? When you first cut the wires, this is what it's going to look like. What you're going to need is a wire stripper. You're going to need to strip these wires so you can get the wires back to this right here. You need a good portion of the copper wire to twist it and connect it. So one hand bandit, let me see how I can do this. You select your wire that you're going to strip, get it clamped on there, and then now the fashion is just to wiggle and pull. Let's see. Yeah, then you just gotta pull the jacket off. Get it on your wire. Now my wire cutter and like splicer doubles as a crimp tool as well. So gonna take crimp tool and get it right over there, and you see with the crimp tool too, it has that little split in the middle to let you know one wire is going to be on the left, the other is going to be on the right, and they meet in the middle. But then you're going to crimp all the way down. Good connection, just like that. Crimp it down. It's going to give you that solid connection. I'm actually tugging with a nice little bit of force. As you can see, I'm rocking the whole headlight. Tugging on that, that's a good connection. So do that, then we're going to do the other side, like so. Yeah, I like to make sure I push the wire all the way in so it can't go in any further. Grab your crimp tool. I like to make sure mine is over where the yellow is. That's going to make it the tightest. Then we're going to crimp. Alright, so what it do, tool? Had to take the time and figure out the wiring right. Again, when you're getting ready to cut the turn signal wire harness, it's going to be 3 wires. You're going to have a red and black wire, you're going to have a green and orange wire, and you're going to have a blue wire. As I figured out through trial and error with my other headlights, the blue wire is going to be ground. The red and black wire is your turn signal wire. So if you were going to hook up an LED to that, you would actually be tapping in to just the red and black wire and the blue wire for ground for your LED. So that's just to let you guys know. And the green and orange is power supplied. So that is if you want to just hook up a LED to have on while you have like your parking lights on. you would actually hook it up to the green and orange and the blue wire. So just giving y'all a heads up for the wiring. Again, with the load resistor, you're going to wire the load resistor into the red and black wire, and the blue wire being that is the turn signal, so that's going to help that hyper flash. Stay tuned. Okay, so now you got your wires split, you have them spliced, and you have them pretty much down to where you want the copper. What you're gonna do is take a crimp connector, right? Again, I like these better because once you crimp it, they also have like this little sleeve around it that's like a what is it, heat shrink. So it'll, heat up and it'll form this little sleeve right here, which I really like. That gives you that little extra added protection when you are doing a wiring job. Again, it's very sturdy, won't come out, and it helps against moisture, won't let any water or anything like that in. So after I'm done, I'm gonna do these other connections same way, and yeah, gonna wrap it with some electrical tape, and that should be it for the wiring. I mean, the last and final thing after the wiring is to do the headlight restoration, buff it out, and yeah, I'll get back to y'all with the wiring, show y'all how it goes. Perfect. And now you see heat shrink, heated around it. It decreased in diameter, so you see it shrunk around the wires, and that's what you want to get that good connection. Alright, after we use the lighter and we heat up the heat shrink, I like to take electrical tape and just run it over the connections on the end where the heat shrink and everything connect on the edges. And then I'm gonna take electrical tape and I'm gonna run it around this whole thing here. I'm gonna run it around this whole thing. Probably gonna tape up a little bit more of this to make it a little bit more neat.